welcome to OtakuCast. I'm your host, Angel's Calamity, and I have a little YouTube gaming channel, Angel's Calamity, and I have a Facebook and an Instagram if you want to follow up on my gaming stuff. But that's not why we're here today. And my co-host, I can speak English, DC.
No, you can't. Hey! It's me, Directionally Challenged, DC. Hi, welcome back.
Glad
You
to
can
have you.
find me on YouTube. Directionally Challenged.
And we have our special guest today,
Gekko.
Hey,
Gekko.
what's up? I am also on this voice cast for today.
Yes.
I'm the media director for Otaku, and I don't have social media because I am an enigma. At least until you get to know me, then you know my entire social security number.
I'm an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate that. And we do need more guests for next week. So if you're part of our empire and you want to be up here and talk with us, let us know. DM me or DC.
Always get a hold of us.
Yeah,
and if you don't, we will find you, and we will ask you ourselves.
Yeah,
we will find you.
DC's
we will
void,
talk to you.
The void. Gotta watch out for that void. All right, we're gonna launch into Otaku news. We got a couple news things to talk about today. The first thing is a new Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film. Despite the virus, the staff has got 36 minutes of this film done. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
and
it's being hand drawn.
Hand drawn, yes. Do you want to pronounce? Since I am the worst at pronouncing the Japanese names, you could do the Japanese one, and I'll do the English name.
Kimitachi wa do ikuru ka?
There you go, and it means how do you live? Thank you, I appreciate that. And the producer Toshiro Suzuki says the staff has been working really hard, and it's a big, fantastical story. They're drawing it all by hand. It's going to take 3 years to complete.
Yeah, it's
so
absolute insanity that
3 years.
They're going for like full hand drawn on it.
They want to make a opus.
And then I guess it's about a boy named Kapiro and his uncle discussing spiritual growth and how to live as human beings.
Interesting.
I feel like it's definitely a funny thing calling it "How do you live in a time when we're all quarantined?" Like, how are you actually living at this time period?
Well, it'll be fine. It'll be 3 years from now. Nobody will be in quarantine anymore. The zombies will have taken care of everything.
We hope.
Yeah.
Zombies will take care of it all.
Watch some new movies.
Yeah. That is the new 20 sarcophaguses they just found. That's less otaku news, but apparently, yeah, they discovered like 20 sarcophaguses.
It would make it a JoJo reference to otaku news.
Yeah, it's fine.
Then there's a and then IGN report gave a PS5 tech demo with the Unreal Engine, utilizing film quality assets and dynamic lighting. And there's a link for YouTube, just YouTube it, and it looks really good. So, I mean, I still think the PS5 is a ways off, but
is it a ways off? I thought it was.
It's holiday season of this year. So it's a ways off, but it's.
What do you mean a ways off? Holiday season of this year? It's already May. We're not that far away.
Don't remind me that it's May. It was like February. Only
it feels like it was February a week ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I was still in college.
Yeah, it does. And then
it gets faster.
Announces that we already know due to World Matters, E3 has been canceled, but some developers have teamed up. They call themselves the Guerrilla Collective, and they're teaming up for an announcement-filled show in June. It's a little gaming celebration. It's going to be the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and they're going to be streaming on their official channels starting at 10 a.m. PST on the 6th.
The Guerrilla Collective is studios like Larian, Raw Fury, Rebellion, Paradox Interactive, Funcom, Versus Evil, ZAUM, Coffee Stain Studios, 11-Bit Studios, and Humble Publishing. And I've only played games from 2 of those companies, but they've made some good games. If you look into the studies, a lot of strategy games. It's a lot of strategy games between them.
Oh yeah. Did you have something to say, Gekko?
Yeah, I was just saying lots of strategy games, and so if you're a strategy game enthusiast, I guess keep an eye on that, especially if you're interested in Baldur's Gate 3. No doubt they're gonna have more information since Larian is involved in that. So if you like D&D, give it a watch.
If you want the Baldur's Gate stuff, Definitely.
I will definitely be watching.
Because Baldur's
And then
Gate is just D&D.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, which some of you may have heard of. I think it's a kind of popular game.
Is it?
It
Has
yeah,
anyone been playing Animal Crossing lately? I haven't heard
I
anything.
don't have it. I don't have it
I don't
personally.
own it.
I don't have a Switch, so
I
I
have a
just
Switch.
get to sit here and be mad.
Only reason I don't play it is because I know I won't do anything else. But they're doing a new
Oh,
manga, part manga, and
get
it's
some Robo
inspired
Angels
by
in chat.
Animal Crossing. My Robot Angels.
Yep.
Oops, a new manga, and it's gonna be in the June Shogun. Jeez, I cannot. That magazine. I'm gonna do my best. Shogun.
Shogakukan.
Thank
Shogakukan.
you.
Shogakukan.
Shogun Kukan Koro Koro Comics. And they've also done a couple other one-shot mangas. This is going to be a one-shot manga, and heck yeah, it's a very popular game. I'm sure the mangas will be done well.
It will launch in the magazine's next issue in June.
Yes, yes. Then
Very
DC, you had some other news for us that's very near and dear to your heart.
Um, yes. So, Atsushi Okubo, who is the mangaka for Fire Force, he also was the mangaka for Soul Eater, has stated that this story is in its final stage, and for me, I plan for this to be my last manga, so please accompany me until the very end. So, Fire Force, the manga, is coming to its final chapters, and there's gonna be no more from Okubo after that, and that kind of is a shame because
Yeah,
I really liked Soul Eater.
Fire Force was definitely one of the
Yeah,
better
it's
ones.
so good. I know. And
I
in
enjoyed Soul Eater.
The Soul Eater manga was miles above the anime.
I've heard it is on my reading list. Someday I will read it, and
that
I
was
will want. I will get into Fire Force. It definitely
there's
sounds good.
there's a clear divergence from manga and anime with Soul Eater, kind of like the original the original Full Metal Alchemist. There's that
Yeah,
divergence that just goes way off. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've heard. So someday, I mean, I'm still hoping that they're gonna redo it like Soul Eater Brotherhood, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
anyway, we're gonna move on to our topic. What's our topic today, DC?
We're discussing villainous motivations and the
Yes.
motivations of villains in anime.
See,
Good, bad, and the ugly.
Miss Tote Taker. I had to sort them into best and worst and both. But
I've got a
that's just
list to reference here. Which is gonna be...
excellent. Why don't you throw us out one first, Becca? What do you got?
So it's not one, but more of a series because I'm gonna be pretty basic when I say it. I'm a huge JoJo fan. One of my first super in
Oh.
depth anime manga experiences.
Sorry, Joe's.
Yeah, it's very good, but it's got a wide gamut of villains, and I would
It's
say,
Go. Sorry.
yeah, but I will say the first part it honestly has probably some of the worst villain motivations. Young Dio, he's just an asshole. Like, let's be real.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
That is his entire design, and that
yeah. It was
really makes
written.
him unlikable. But he has these weird moments where it's really good. It's really weird to reference, but at the end, when they're playing football and Jonathan and Dio are just, helping each other out to win the game, it really shows that they were just, they're just boys and they have their own path. But it's all just sort of thrown out the window because, haha, I'm evil. I get killed money,
Yeah.
vampires.
Yeah, Dio is all over the place. His just main goal is to just mess stuff up. So
He's iconic, but it's just so the motivation is very like I wouldn't even say it's one dimensional. It's like half dimensional.
but I mean, I gotta say, I actually have Dio Brando on my list, and my notes I use much more swear words than I'm allowed to say. But there was that moment where he burned the dog alive, and he's just cruel. And
Y-
then there was that one scene that I will never forget with the woman and her baby. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
No.
Okay,
I'm.
well, he was like zombifying everybody in the town. Minor spoilers for JoJo Bizarre Adventure, and I think it's season 2. I don't know. I'm watching it on
It's
Netflix.
it's season 1 if it's Jonathan.
Yes. I don't know. But, and then there's this woman and she's like, "Okay, fine, I'll join you, just don't hurt my baby, don't hurt my baby," and she has an infant, and he goes, "Oh, I won't hurt your baby at all, I promise you that." And then he, like, turns her into a zombie and she, like, eats her own baby, like, and he's just like, "Ha ha, yes, my master plan, a woman ate her own baby, ha ha," and you're like,
Look, he's chaotic evil. All right.
"Ye
He's just. I feel like he's just evil, evil or chaotic evil.
yeah, just the worst, the bottom of the barrel. He dwells in chaos."
Because you have like
Some
the
men just want to.
the chart
Some men just want to
where
watch
it's
the
like
world
neutral
burn.
evil. You know that you've got like the 9 things.
Yes,
There's like you expand it into 3 dimensions, so there's actually 27 or whatever. So you've got like neutral, neutral, neutral in the middle. He is just chaotic evil in the like bottom right. He just is to he is to be evil, and
Yeah.
exactly.
it makes him I guess interesting to watch and gives you a reason to hate him because yes, he's just evil to be evil, but it's hard to I guess sympathize with them, which is why I appreciate a little bit more multi-structural villains because you sort of want that moment where it's like, yeah, I kind of agree with the villain. You know, I kind of
Yeah.
agree. This is understandable, but then
The
you have to like
Thanos
shake it
argument.
off. Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes. It's. I think Thanos is the current eras, but um,
Mm.
people like Breen, Breen from Half-Life 2, how he became the Overlord of Earth, and he sort of surrendered Earth in its entirety to the Combine, and you'd
Hmm.
say, well, he's a terrible person, but he was trying to save humanity. That's the way
Yeah.
that extinction or submission. It's sort
Angels,
of hard to
you okay over there?
disagree.
yeah,
Oh, there
yeah.
you go.
It's sort of hard to disagree with that.
I saw Angel's mouth moving and I didn't hear any sound, and I was like, wait.
I
I
was,
keep
mouthing
screaming,
what I
but God will answer.
that game. I think I was mouthing it. I didn't wanna interrupt. He was doing a thing. Do you see you got one for us?
Aizen from Bleach.
Yes.
If anybody knows Aizen from Bleach, Aizen was the first main antagonist. His motivation, what he says and what it actually is, are very different. His whole motivation was to become the Spirit King because he believed that the Spirit King kind of wasn't doing anything. It was an empty throne, and so his whole thing was just Otaku Empire says only relevant villain. It's very true. Aizen was the main antagonist, and after his defeat, the it felt empty, and like he got to a point where he was so powerful he had no rivals, and he wanted someone that could equal him.
Yeah.
But Aizen's motivations were just like that. He wanted to sit on the throne of God because he felt that the throne was empty. That sort of deal where you can kind of, as Gekko was saying, you can kind of get that. That's a motivation you can understand. Where it's like,
Yeah.
Chuck said, oh, he was also a moth. Well, debatable. Moth, butterfly. There's a lot of. Uh,
Mothra.
well, no, he throughout like his whole thing was he wanted to get a hold of this thing called the Hogyoku, which was invented by Urahara Kisuke. But Aizen made his own version of it. It was just deemed a failure because he couldn't make it work. Yeah,
Yeah, because
but
it wasn't
he merged the two to create the perfect Hogyoku.
fusion.
Yeah, and so the whole thing with it is that it could grant any wish because that's how powerful it was, and that's what he
Magic.
used to try and grant his own wish to be able to become powerful enough to become the Spirit King. But he was just such a good villain because he was smart. He was like calm. He was collected.
He was also driven,
He very driven.
like,
And
I've seen the Bleach. I know the Aizen. He had
yeah,
actually almost made my list, not gonna lie. But my memory is the worst, so I couldn't reasonably talk on him enough, so that's actually why he
I
didn't make
mean, he's just the ultimate badass. Like it's spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Bleach,
A
and
little late.
it's not in. Well, no, the anime is coming back.
Is
Is
it?
it?
Cause yeah, they're bringing the anime back.
Are they redoing it?
I think they're just gonna do the final season that they
Oh,
didn't do.
because
Which
I feel guilty because you guys talk about this. It's like, man, Soul Eater, I tried, I really did. Whenever I was younger, and it was, I guess, more serialized because I used to buy Shonen Jumps. I was like, I really enjoyed Bleach, but it was like One Piece and Naruto, where there's just a wall between the current era and what's coming out like in the serialization and the beginning, and it's so daunting to get into. One Piece more than ever
Bleach
is
isn't
like,
that long. Bleach is like 600.
yeah, but
Is that all?
only 600. Somebody hears
Wait, is
600
that
and they
all?
might they might lose it. Here, let me do a
That's
little bit of math.
that's not that long for
600.
a manga. In all honesty,
600 chapters or episodes?
no, chapters is what I'm talking about.
How many
Episodes
episodes are
is
we
a lot.
talking?
I don't know how
Uh,
many episodes Bleach's anime actually has.
Because if we can, I've done this math for One Piece before. If One Piece is at what, 900 episodes?
Yeah.
So 900, and let's assume you like skip the ending credits, so it's like what, 22 minutes?
With ending credits. Yeah.
Because every
Roundabout,
episode is
yeah.
roughly, yeah, without them it's like 22 minutes. If you like skip the
Yeah.
intro and you skip the outro, it's like 22 minutes long, roughly.
Sometimes 18.
Mm-hmm. So let's go average and let's say 20 minutes then. So we got 900 multiplied by 20. That's 1,800 minutes.
And
Or
the Otaku
18,000.
Empire says Bleach is actually 366 episodes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
not that. That's
6,000.
not that much.
Yeah,
It's only
but
like
so
137 hours.
yeah,
It's
so
not a
that's
lot.
so that's like 100 odd hours of Bleach. That's like 300 hours of One Piece. I don't have. There are games that people play religiously that they won't even get 300 hours in.
What are you talking about?
Like, it's a lot of time. Like
I've
300
got.
300
I've
hours
got.
is 100 hours is like a enjoyable experience. 300 hours is a commitment.
What about the people who do Netflix binges? They watch way more than that.
No, it's the
Come
same
on.
thing. No, those binges are a commitment too. I watched
Yeah.
oh god, there's a show called Burn Notice. It's got
Yeah, Burn Notice is great. It had
yeah.
Bruce Campbell in it.
Yeah, it has like 13 episodes per season, and each
Yeah.
episode's like 40 minutes long. So we've got 40-minute episodes
Mhm.
at 13 apiece. I watched 4 seasons with a friend to introduce him to it. That's like 35 hours. So yeah, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, where you
But
all find
it's
this time?
See?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about with like One Piece. It's daunting because you think it's like, oh man, I'm gonna watch like, you watch 10 episodes in a day. That's a lot for some people, and
Some people.
yeah, you could watch a whole like current season. Like what's an average season for an anime is what, 12 episodes at this point, 13 to
Yes.
16 if they're a little bit longer, and you could watch a season a day and still not be caught up in a month, 2 months. It's
Yeah,
just a little
Yojak-
like
daunting.
Yojak says, take it one day at a time. It's
Yeah,
not
take
a.
a look.
You
But
can
he also
you can
says
catch
to watch
up.
filler.
I also have been informed that there is a like list out there for One Piece where it's like, this is how you can get caught up and avoid all the filler episodes, because apparently it has a lot of filler.
You can
All
get
over the
caught
place.
up. Look, 3 months you get caught up in One Piece. 3 months, 10 episodes a day, you're caught up, and you get to
Not all.
have one of my like almost all of my list of villains that I want to talk about today. So let's Angels. What have you got? What's a villain you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
let's get back on
their
topic.
motivation?
So many. I was actually gonna rein it in, but you got to it before me. There's so
I'm good
many
at that.
villains. First off, I'm gonna talk about Stain from My Hero Academia.
Stain, ooh,
Stain,
yes.
yeah.
Now,
he's
Stain, if you've not watched the show, what is wrong with you? It's an amazing show. Stain was a
No.
villain. He's a very popular villain, and he killed, but he had like his own little rules he lived by, and actually when he was defeated, he actually had a cult following behind him because a lot of people believed in what he was doing, and his goal was to destroy the heroes that are in it for the fame and in it for the
Yeah,
money. They're not in it to
he didn't
actually.
believe in didn't believe in heroes for hire, basically.
No,
They
he
should
didn't.
they
Yeah,
should be
he
doing it for the heroicness of it.
to be saving and helping people. That's what
Yeah.
Stain thought, and like his powers were really
Oh,
awesome, and
100% agreed, Yojak. 100% agreed. Gentle criminal is better than Stain. 100%
I don't know.
gentle is
I
the
don't know
best.
Optional is. I don't.
Oh, you'll find Gentle. Gentle's the best.
Okay. Okay. Um, but yeah, he didn't like heroes that valued money and popularity over life, and he despised capitalistic things. And yeah, and
Well, specifically when in
can't
regards to heroism, he didn't think heroism should be monetized.
exactly. He didn't. He wanted people just to be heroes to save and help people, not because they become like movie stars. And
Yeah.
like that one show hero, literally all she was like a model because
Hmm?
she got Momo and other girl. I don't remember. They went in for hero work and they spent the whole day just helping the other hero model. And it was just like, okay, I kind of get it, Stain. I kind of get it. So,
I believe
I
Pretty
was she
mean,
the
violent, but
dragon girl? The dragon one?
wish the I don't think so. Maybe
I
no,
think she
because the
was.
dragon one had like the thing. Comments?
What?
Do you guys know? I can't off the top of my head. I don't
I don't
remember.
remember.
But yeah, that's what I got. Is and my first entry into this topic is Stain and the hero killer Stain, and like he hurt Ingenium, which was our boy's Tenya Ida, his brother, and because he thought Ingenium was in it only for the popularity and all that kind of stuff, and our boys confronted him, and it was a really good fight. If you like shonen anime, watch My Hero Academia. It's just
it's pretty
yeah,
solid.
it is.
Eh, eh,
Eh,
eh.
What do
I
you
think
got?
I think it's the new what would be the anime for the yesteryear for everyone to get into. I don't want to say Naruto, but I guess it's like the Naruto of our generation or this
Kind
generation
of
of
accurate. Yeah, no, kind of accurate.
It's a new
With the
hip
way the
hop
writing's going, kind of accurate.
captain thing. I mean,
hmm Let's see. Back on villains, I have I would say a better villain.
Oh.
I'm going to preface this by saying major spoilers for Berserk. If you don't want to have Berserk spoiled in any way, shape, or form, go like put a pan on your head and beat it for like the next like 5 minutes or something.
Don't worry, I'm not someone who minds
I'm just
spoilers.
kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so
Don't spoil that heavy, though. Don't
I'll
spoil that
attempt
heavy.
to not. I'll skirt the major stuff, but we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Griffith, that you've
Oh,
probably without a doubt heard of before,
Yeah.
and he's got the same thing where it's sort of like a Stain thing. He's driven. He starts up his own band of mercenaries to
mm-hmm.
work for kingdoms to inevitably make his own kingdom for
The Band
his
of Hawks.
yeah, the Band of Hawks for his friends and his people to like free them because he came in from poverty and he could do anything. Like he did some crazy stuff for a arc, which he was I forget the name of the fortress, but it was like they cheated the fortress
Yeah.
and all the other stuff. And he's really driven, but then the eclipse happens, and he becomes basically becomes a god at that point. I'm not spoiling
Like
what
a
happens at the eclipse, but he becomes a god.
yeah. You mean what happens that basically causes Guts to
Everything.
go on his journey?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Guts' journey had started before that, which is what disappoints me. That the only good animation for Berserk out there is always pre-eclipse up to eclipse animation. Everything post-eclipse is trash. 2016.
Yeah, no,
Eventually,
but
I will watch Berserk. I have heard
I mean,
many things about Berserk.
I'm just saying Guts' journey really
Don't watch
kicks off.
Berserk. Read Berserk.
Yeah.
It is the way it's meant to be.
Everyone has told me read Berserk.
You
Don't
can
watch it, read
if
it.
you want to watch it, you got to watch the '90s anime or the 3 movie series. But
I
you will
watched the
miss out
three
a lot.
movie series.
You will miss out a bit.
Yeah.
I'll
But
probably watch the '90s anime. I'm okay with older anime. I'm fine with that.
it's
I'm
he
still
comes
trying to
back.
finish some of them.
He's literally a god at this point.
Yeah.
But
What
he's
is his
still
motivation beyond that though? Does he
at this
really even
point.
have a motivation after that?
He does. See, what's happened most recently in the series is there was a big fight that I'm not going to spoil, and it
Yeah.
basically brought Hell and Earth sort of like into the same layer of reality. So
Sort of like
monsters are
during the
all
eclipse.
yeah, so monsters are all over the place now. He's created his nation that he wanted.
Hmm.
He's like the last bastion. He's got the new band of hawks and everything else. And he got his goal, but there's still like something creeping under it, like I guess a little niggling doubt of something happening in the background,
Yeah.
and
Niggling doubt.
because Guts is still out there, and there's something because if you've read or watched it, you know that their relationship pre Eclipse was special. Like they were close friends. Griffith basically forced Guts into the Band of Hawk, but they became friends in the middle. But Guts sort of like betrayed Griffith in a way later on, and there's this just sort of I feel like there's still a thing that's going to happen in the future with that sort of betrayal of trust that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We might see history repeat itself almost.
Probably.
Ooh.
Knowing how things go.
And knowing the writer, yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe indeed. DC, you got another one for us?
I do. Now, if I were to go and had 3 or 4 hours to talk, I would probably go through every villain in One Piece because they all have such varied motivations that it's a really good like thing to sink your teeth into if you want to talk about villainous motivations and like what kind of makes a good villain or what makes a sympathetic villain or what makes a bad villain. One Piece runs a gambit of awesome motivations, but I want to talk about Gekko Moria specifically because he's one of the Shichibukai. He is a villain.
What is Shichibukai?
Shichibukai is the 7 warlords of the sea. They are the legal pirates chosen by the Marines to counter the pirates.
Got you.
Yojack says, "Get interesting choice." Well, it's an interesting choice because Gekko Moria was a pirate. That's how you become a Shichibukai in the first place. And his entire crew was killed. Like, wiped out, killed the entire crew. And so that became his motivation to create an army or a crew that could never die. And
Okay.
he has a devil's fruit called the shadow fruit, which allows him to take people's shadows, and he can put those shadows into things to make them move. So he
That's some
has
Peter Pan stuff right there.
he has this doctor that he uses to patch up corpses of really strong dead warriors, and he puts shadows inside of them, and the shadows gain all of
Reanimation
the
jutsu. Got it.
yeah, but they gain all of the abilities of their shadow, like their original, and they have the abilities and skills of like the dead body. So like
So it's pretty much soul snatching, and then they
kind of
re-inhabit a
yeah,
dead body with the soul.
yeah, and
Very interesting.
the side effects are really bad because
So
you
if the
can't go
dude,
into the sunlight anymore or your
if
body
somebody
burns
gets
up.
their shadow taken,
Mhm.
does their body still like live, or is it just
Yes, you have to live in the
oh
shadows though. You can't go into the sunlight or your body burns.
oh
Yeah.
turns them
So
into vampires?
his crew is he wants to be or his crew. His goal is he wants to be the pirate king,
Who
and
doesn't?
he wants to create this unkillable crew. So this crew of zombies that you can't take down. So he'll never
Now
lose
is
his
that a?
crew.
I think that's a sentimental choice the way you described him
Yeah,
more than
exactly.
he doesn't want to lose his family again. I got it.
He doesn't want to suffer that loss again. And
That
that's why Gekko Moria like people can crap on him because he did become like this like let your minions do it kind of guy. He doesn't want to fight. And I think that all became because of his loss is that he's become this kind of like I'm going to make these people I will never suffer loss again. I will never suffer defeat again. I won't go through that again. You know.
that's a pretty good motivator. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say.
One
Yeah.
Piece has some really great villains. Yeah,
All right. Are we ready for my next one?
yeah. Yojax
Yeah.
says he got cut in half by Kaido before the story started.
Oh,
That's Kaido is the one that literally wiped his entire crew out.
yeah. Real quick before we jump, though, I will say I sort of soft diss on One Piece with the amount of episodes, but I will give One Piece this. It has probably one of the most visually appealing animes to me. There's something about the just wide variety of character designs that just is like, ooh, it is just
Yeah,
good.
there's a range from like everyone can
'Cause
be
you have like
either
Luffy, who's like generic human,
yeah
and then you have people like Bartholomew Kukuma,
Kuma.
who's like wide human.
No, he's wide and he's like 12 feet tall.
Yeah, and
Griffin?
then you have like literal giants, like
Yeah,
the dude from Impelled Down. I forget his name.
Yojack is bashing on
his
your pronoun.
name is Luffy.
Yeah,
It is
Luffy.
Luffy. It is
It's Luffy.
Zolo, but
Yeah, yeah. It has been a while.
Sanji.
I need to rewatch it or at
Yeah,
least attempt
Zoro,
to.
or Rorona Zolo, or Zoro, however you want to do it. Usopp. It's Usopp. Usopp.
All right. And for my next one, like it's from
Nachi.
the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood series. And it's a great series.
Ooh.
There's a lot of
Nachi.
good villains from the series. Is he still
Robin?
yeah, he's still doing it. He's still doing things.
We're just talking. Don't
Anyway,
worry. Keep going.
okay, I got distracted and my one brain cell had a moment. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, there's some really good villains, but I chose to talk about Shao Tucker. Everybody knows Shao Tucker.
Not,
You
not,
know,
what?
you don't know Shao Tucker?
Why are you gonna
Let me
talk about Shao
enlighten
Tucker?
you. Let me enlighten you if you don't know about Shao Tucker. Shao Tucker was a brilliant alchemist, and he was like state accredited alchemist. And what he did, the reason why he got that is for brilliant research, and he was able to make an artificial being named a chimera, where they pretty much take and mix animals together with magic
Edward.
science that's called alchemy, and he made one that talked. It
Edward.
died shortly afterwards, but he made one that talked. Fast forward years later, Shao Tucker's been trying to replicate said experiment. Not work so far. Our heroes come within. Shao Tucker has a daughter and a dog, and our heroes Edward and Alphonse they come and they're with him for a little while, and then
Edward.
yeah, I know it hurts me, and I'm getting there, but Shao was running out of time because he was going to lose his accreditation pretty much if he didn't have something to
If he
show his
couldn't,
work.
yeah.
He couldn't produce something to show that he still deserved that state accreditation and the money and the fame that came with it.
Yeah, that's the one of the things with Full Metal Alchemist is having to keep showing your
Would
research.
you guys quit hurting me in chat, please? You're hurting my heart.
I will say the
Edward.
chimeras, the ones that are in the later, like Jerso and uh Zampano, are the ones that I think the Toad and the Boar. They're probably some of my favorite characters in Full Metal Alchemist, just
They are
because
pretty awesome.
they're just trying to like make it in this world where people are like generating metal spikes from their hands and stuff like that. They're just like, I just want to go home.
Pretty
I just don't want
much.
to die.
And well, pretty much Shao Tucker, he took his daughter and his dog and he turned that into another talking chimera. And then you come to find out that's pretty much where his missing wife went as well. She was also turned into his last talking chimera. And it's really depressing because this little girl recognizes Edward, and that's going on about as she looks up at him, and she's just this monster-looking dog with long hair and like dead eyes, and she just goes, "Edward, play," and it's heartbreaking because Edward he emotes so well. That's why he's my favorite anime character and my favorite anime just because that is what anybody would do in that situation is bust into angry tears because that was a little girl. That was his daughter that
Mm-hmm.
he ended her whole just future because of his own selfish ambitions. And like the police come and they get it all blown up and uncovered and then Scar comes and he sees our chimera and you guys know what happens. If you don't know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to tell you, but I you know what happens. But I can't really hate Scar for doing that though because he said that he felt that she was in agony
Yeah.
being that
Well,
mixed up body. She was yeah.
pretty pretty obvious she was in agony.
Yeah. But could you imagine having your whole entire being mashed with your dogs. It doesn't sound like a forcibly mashed, like the atoms just. Yeah, it doesn't sound like fun. But Gekko, you got another one for us?
Ooh, let me think here. I'll have to pull some information, or pull some ones out of the back of my head, because
Yeah,
it comes down to.
gotta
I
pull
mean,
some Google. I mean,
yeah,
brain.
hang on. I gotta Google something.
It's
Uh,
okay. Do you want DC to take your turn? You guys just switch
no,
while you get
I've
something
got
ready?
some. I've got some. Like, it comes to more interesting ones. It's sort of almost brushed under the rug, but like the Animal House of Evolution from One Punch Man.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, you want to talk about that? It's brought up for like 0.5 seconds in the beginning of one of the episodes, and
to make humanity,
yeah, make humanity
evolve.
stronger, evolve. They called him a fool. It's
Yeah,
like he has proof. I mean, technically speaking, he did like do a pretty good job about evolving people, and it was a
yeah.
pretty solid motivation. But it was like the evil part was but it was
I do
quite.
not remember this character at all, and I've
It's
He's the
seen
one that
One Punch
created the
Man.
beetle,
yeah, he
the
created the
beetle
beat.
guy.
He created the beetle who was voiced
Oh,
by
okay.
the
I
late
had a
Jason
One
Stark.
Punch villain as well. I had Vaccine Man as my One Punch villain.
There you go. That's a good one too. But what's even
Oh,
funnier is Mecha Gorilla and
yeah,
the scientists. They show back up later on when City Z like sort of falls to monsters, and they were I think the king of the monsters, like the monster uh league or whatever they're called, are like trying to recruit people, and they're like, hey, you're a monster, come help me, and they're like, what? No, dude, I'm just trying to get groceries.
yeah, yeah. He's literally like, well, that's because he kind of lost his motivation after he
Saying One Punch
realized
Man, yeah.
Saitama. Yeah, he's like, oh, somehow he's managed to break his limiters, and he's like, well, that was everything I wanted.
Yeah, I would probably quit too if I saw like, and even in periphery, if I was a villain and I'm like doing my villainy things and I see some like other villain get like punched into atoms,
Yeah.
I'd like quit. I'd be like, take me in. I don't want to be near this guy.
I don't want that to happen to me.
Which
I'm
is
good.
Exactly.
which oh man, what's his name? It's I'm like trying to pull strings because it's been such a while since I've watched it. It's been like a year. The I think it's Batu or something. The I'm like stuttering over this, but the apprentice of wow, I can't remember any names today, huh? The
All right,
apprentice of the martial arts guy in the top
Garo?
10
Are
heroes.
you talking
Yeah,
the
Garu.
no?
Yeah, Garu. The Garu.
What is he?
Yojak said
Yeah.
Garo, yeah, but I
Yeah,
have not
Garu.
seen season 2.
He's
Yojak in chat
the
said that as well.
he wants to be a monster.
He wants to be a monster, but he wants to do it basically by killing villains, or not villains, but
He
heroes,
wants to he wants to prove himself. He wants to beat
because
he's tired of the villains always getting the bad rap.
yeah, and he's sort of becoming
He's
a
very
human monster.
villain sympathetic then, huh?
Yeah,
He thinks the villains were the coolest, which I don't think he's wrong. Like I can sympathize with him because in most
sure.
TV shows the villains are way cooler.
You ever watch Super Sentai? Like, you see those villain
Yeah,
designs?
exactly.
But
I
it's
know.
but like he gets kidnapped by the monster organization. Like, this will actually turn you into a monster, and he's like, no, I'm
No.
doing it my way,
Yeah.
which I can respect because it's a pretty good motivation. It's I want to prove that villains aren't always the ones who lose. Heroes lose
Mhm.
too, and he's doing it by killing his way up the ladder.
Yeah. And not
That's
really
pretty
even
rude.
killing, just beating the crap out of.
That's fair. I think it's always referenced as like killing beforehand, but then he actually gets to like the
Yeah.
on-screen fights, and it's like he didn't kill Tank Top Master. He just like beat him to
He
death.
hasn't
Oh,
killed
near death.
anyone.
He hasn't killed anyone yet.
He's just beaten them up.
I think he's killed some monsters.
He's killed monsters. He's not killed people,
Mm-hmm.
which
All right,
is yeah. It's
don't
good.
yawn. I'm just tired.
Oh, Angel just skipped there for a bit.
Oh, sorry. We good now?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So DC, you got another one for us? I do want to
Actually,
watch season 2 of One Punch Man though. It's like on my list.
Otaku Empire, that is exactly who I was about to bring up, is Lad Russo.
Is this another One Piece?
No, Lad Russo is Baccano.
Oh,
Yes.
Baccano.
Lad Russo's motivation is murder, cause murder is fun.
He likes killing people.
That's it.
He's gonna kill his wife. He's gonna kill everybody that he
Eventually,
gets. Yeah, eventually he's gonna kill his wife
he's
because,
gonna kill her last.
and
After
she's
he's killed
into
everyone
it.
else.
She's into it. She's like,
Yeah, thought you were gonna kill me, and he's like, oh, after everyone else.
yeah,
L-
you're my favorite. I'll kill you last. You know,
Lad
but
Russo's motivation. He's like Joker. He's just chaos. He's not in it for anything other than the pure joy of it. You know.
yeah, he just likes causing disarray, discord.
He
and
just likes
death.
murder. He just likes death. That's the thing. That's the trope. That's the character trope for very few characters. There's
Got
not
a
like
murder boner.
there's not a ton of them out
That
there, but there are characters that are just uh,
they're in it
some men
for the
just want to
killing.
watch the world burn. Master Wine.
Yes, but he wants to watch the bodies hit the floor. Let the
Yeah,
bodies hit the floor.
the floor, rah. But
Exactly.
like that's one of those motivations in villainy that can be good or utter crap.
There's a fine line between
Yeah.
writing that kind of bad guy. Is it going to be an amazing bad guy, or is it going to be like, oh, he just wants to kill people? Yay! Look at you go.
Yeah,
You know, I like the way Lad is done.
yeah, lads.
He's so happy and peppy and into his murdering, and it's great for them.
Yeah, Lad
Just killing.
Yeah, Lad just loves it. Lad's just in. And like I said, that's like Joker, you know? Joker just loves it. Joker's just in. And there's sometimes you get characters that are just crazy and they're not done well. You know,
Yeah.
you can argue there's people that say they don't like Joker, but I mean, he's one of the most popular DC villains for like a reason. He's really well done. Lad
Yes,
Russo
yes, he is.
is really well done for crazy.
He is.
I would also
He is.
argue that Joker's success also comes from his mysteriousness too, because he's not cut and dry. He is always changing. There's never an actual backstory for Joker.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's part of his
Yeah, it's part of his demeanor
craziness.
because
Yeah.
it makes it
Like,
so interesting to dissect. And
If I'm
you know,
gonna have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
yeah,
Hmm.
Insert tragic backstory here.
He
mhm.
did
know?
have one.
All
He did.
right. Is it? Did you? Is mine? My turn.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Tell
Are
us.
you only if you're sure? All right. I got one that kind of falls under the both of good and bad or bad guys, villains. Light Yagami. He really a villain? Is he a hero? I mean, he's from Death Note. He's the protagonist. I guess you can call him an antagonist, whichever way you want to do it.
He's the protagonist, but he's a villain.
Yes, I'm Team Light though. Is he really a villain? At least to
Yes.
start with. Is he a villain to start with
Yes.
though? No. I say
Yes.
no.
Yes.
No. I say no
Yes.
because he started off with good intentions. He found the Death Note, which if you've not seen the show, it's pretty much a magical book that anyone whose name is written in it will die. There's a whole bunch of rules, and I'm not getting into it. But he starts off by killing. He kills like bad guys. He kills criminals, and he starts off so good and so with good intentions, and it just spirals out of control.
Look. Much like Punisher, who was one of my favorite Marvel heroes, I will argue Punisher definitely 100% anti-hero. He is not a hero. Light, same thing.
Yeah,
They
Punisher.
do this.
Yeah,
Same
they're
thing. Same energy.
Same energy.
Punisher murders villains for villainous things. Light did the same thing.
The enemy and mine enemy is my friend.
No.
He's not a hero, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Light's not a hero.
They may be doing
He's not a
good.
hero.
They may be doing good things, air quotes,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make it good.
I mean, also his standard of what was evil, kinda.
That degraded over time, but at
It
first he
was-
literally went down like the FBI's most wanted list and killed the worst people at the start with, and near the end. But when Akira which is what his killer name was actually active.
Kira.
Crime went down by 70% across the country. No, everyone was too afraid to be bad.
Yeah, again, because his standard of evil
Hey,
dropped.
hey, good things came of it until the end of the
He's
anime.
not a good person.
No, chat, back me up on this. Somebody.
No one's gonna
He
no.
started with good intentions,
That is the Punisher a good person? Because I'm gonna argue no,
No, the
and I
Punisher
like
isn't.
him.
but he kills get bad guys. So
Yeah, he also pushed a Stitch in front of a train.
he fed the birds. Okay, he fed the birds.
And
Right.
Yeah.
doesn't make
See,
him an inherently good person.
Even Jay says he started with good intentions, but murder is murder.
Well, see, the reason at least if you're talking about like the Punisher TV show, his was a revenge story, and it wasn't a good revenge story though. Just because
No.
it's if he gets revenge, that's fine. It's you're going, yes, he got his personal vendetta, finished. However, the amount of people he killed in between then,
Yeah.
the amount of disaster he
It's
caused too.
it's
Yeah, and then
fine.
you look at Kira. It's kind of the same thing. Is that like, yeah, he is. It's like it's that moral question though. Like, is it right to take the life of someone else,
Exactly.
even
Like
if
I
that person
agree.
is bad? You know.
No, I agree with you
And
there.
Kira's standard for bad, that's the whole slippery slope thing where it's like, yeah, it's fine to start at the very top, but then like where do you stop? And
I've got
he didn't have a
He got
stop.
I've got
mad
a
with
good
power.
Yeah,
I've got a
yeah,
good one for you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the setting of Warhammer 40K, but there's basically it's galactic whatever. It's a galactic super future thing. There's a just basically call it like a demigod of a commander. He gets stranded on a planet and his name is Pertuabo. And it starts in the slums as a kid, and already as a kid he's basically beyond the strength of a grown man. So he
yeah.
can start exacting street justice, and he exacts street justice in his city on the planet to the point where there is no crime. And there's no crime because he kills everyone the same way that Light would,
Yeah.
except we're not talking like beyond normal crime. We're not talking like stealing stuff. Like he killed in there's a short story out there where he kills someone because they attempted suicide. Because in his mind that's a crime. He
Well,
killed to his vision,
I
crime
mean,
is,
they got what they wanted.
but not in the
It's
I
way.
mean, yeah.
weird.
But
It's so
to
weird.
him, crime is two things. It's black and white, and that's I guess the light thing is like you are either a criminal or you are a law-abiding citizen. There is no in between. There's no second chances. If he catches you stealing apples, he will Altair sky jump from the highest tower and like put a knife through your head.
just imagining this like person that accidentally puts an apple in the bag that like they didn't take it out of the bag, it was at the bottom and they didn't pay for it, and this dude just be like, apple thief.
See, the thing is, it's crazy because in
Rest
like
in
the
peace,
lore,
headphone users.
he's like a
Sorry.
psyker too, which means he can like see the future and like read mind. So he knows what you've done. He
Just
can
Oh,
like he can
so
like
I guess you could
detect
kill
it.
somebody preemptively because you're gonna commit a crime tomorrow. I have to kill you now.
now
I
we're
mean,
getting
But
into
it
now we're getting
it
into the whole pre-crime. What was that movie? You know the movie I'm talking about,
oh, I'm sorry, it
where
wasn't
they had the
Pertuabo.
three.
It was Conrad Kurz. And with a name like Conrad Kurz, you really couldn't be a good guy.
Minority Report. That's it. Yeah, Jack. Minority Report. Precog.
But I'll send you guys like some, I guess, the wiki page for him or something. But I guess it helps that in the end he basically was part of the group that betrayed the like quote unquote good guys, though there are no good guys in the that setting. But he was just a psychopath but he was like Light if Light took steroids and started writing 24/7.
Psychopaths. I haven't seen Psychopaths yet. I want to watch it.
and yes, and I did see chat when we were talking, but yes, his battle with L was awesome, and I just love that whole anime. If you have not seen Death Note, just please watch it. It's so good. It's so good. All right.
depending on which
I
one you're
think we
watching.
have we can keep going, or we think. What do you think, DC? We got time for
I
another
think,
round?
yeah, we got it. I don't think much happened in the episodes.
I do. On the other
I
hand,
felt. I will say. I think, even from my
I'm
experience,
right. That's all that
I
matters.
think the episode 7 of Another. I haven't seen the other episodes, so you guys aren't going to get much from me out of this. But it,
A little slow.
from what I can tell, it was like I felt like stuff was happening for the first 10 minutes, and then it felt like a filler episode after that.
It was, like I said, a little slow compared to the last episodes. A little slow.
well, I guess we can move on into the anime topic, unless you guys want to talk about villains for a few more minutes.
I could go on for villains forever. I've got some pretty.
Yeah.
I've
I
got
think
some. I've got some villains, but we need to move on.
we could go
Yeah.
on to it
Yeah,
forever.
we really could. I have so many. And
Yo, Jack says you could actually follow Baccano this week. Yes, that's
he's
true.
not wrong.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I saw the first half, and I really appreciate some man getting sucked up into another guy's hand.
Yeah, I was right. That's all that
We'll
matters.
get to that. We'll get to that. But DC, which order do we do this in?
The alphabetical order. Another first.
Another episode 7, which was titled Spear Joint. So
Yeah, I didn't catch the episode title for some reason. I didn't see it, and it was like,
yeah, it was on there, Spear Joint. So they start in the classroom with our crazy teacher where we left off with our last episode. And y'all know what he does. I mean,
Today's class, anatomy.
today's class is how much blood is in the human body.
Let's start.
Allow me to demonstrate.
and he just takes that knife and he just rams it like right in. And I actually
I think wasn't there a different anime? I think it was like When Angels Cry or something like that, where a girl does the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
it's like I was like, this seems familiar.
There was another one. It was a series of horror animes where the girl like slams a knife.
Yes,
onto
that's the one I'm referencing.
She just starts slamming her neck into it. Yeah, yeah. That's a part of a series of horror.
I was like, wow, this seems really
sounds
familiar.
delicious.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing you could consider this class teaching was how long can you survive with a knife in your throat?
And no,
evidently,
he didn't just shove it in there. He like twisted it and pulled it, and you saw the outline of the knife.
He was back in.
I was a little bit. I feel like there was something supernatural about that too. Like I think he was kept alive.
Yeah, it felt like it, right? It felt like he shouldn't have been.
Yeah,
I was like, this is going on for an uncomfortably long period of time.
He was all hyped up on adrenaline, so because he sat there for like 5 minutes beforehand, like brandishing the knife and being crazy person. So
yeah,
but yes, he's jabbed, and it just over the whole class. Now, during this whole scene, I actually went back and watched this scene a couple times because of the fact that after everything was done, Mate appeared, and I was like, I did not see, because you saw all the other students' reactions. She was there.
It's always how they do it with her. How they do it with her every time is she's conveniently blocked by something.
One frame you see her hair, another her shoulder, and another her leg, but you never actually saw her until she like got up to talk to Koichi.
Well, yeah, obviously, because they're trying to push you towards, is it May or is it the main character? That's what they're trying to do. Yeah.
His name is Koichi Sakajihara.
Koichi?
I don't.
That guy. Oh, Koichi. I'm sorry. I don't.
How's it
spelled?
Even know
anymore. I don't know.
It's Koichi is Koichi.
That's how I spell it. So Koichi.
This is the only dude. I'll say that there's only one Koichi in my mind. It's this Koichi.
I don't know.
But pretty much no. But pretty much after that whole thing, May talks about how it didn't work. Making two people not exist didn't change anything.
Yeah. And everyone was panicking, and then pretty much they just kind of move on. May and Koichi are like shook from it, and all the whole class is like,
Was he?
He's a little shook.
He seems relatively unaffected by it by episode's end.
And then the librarian in the past, they showed the librarian and the teacher talking.
Yeah, and he talked, and the teacher said he's gonna leave it all to him.
And he's like, I'm sure you understand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like, I can't.
Okay, if the librarian heard that, he should have done something. I
But he
mean,
didn't
like,
know. What would you think when he's like, I just, I can't handle the stress. I'm gonna leave it to you now. It's like you'd be like, oh, okay. I guess he's gonna be.
no, no,
He's
no.
not gonna
If
go
you were
off himself in the
no,
classroom right now. That wouldn't be my first thought.
but you gotta know something's going on. If the teacher of this cursed class is like making slight hint to suicide intentions, come
He
on.
wasn't. That was the thing, is he wasn't making a hint towards that.
What? If
Yeah,
he was talking to the librarian, why would he ask the librarian to handle things from now on? I'll leave the
because the
rest to you.
librarian was the former teacher of class 3.
Well, he's not right now. And the librarian just
No.
like, sure, whatever. It's cool. It's
Yeah,
cool.
because of the way the school works, yeah. But then we get to find out that the cops raided the teacher's home. They went
Yes.
there. They found out
That
that
was flashback. Yeah, that was fun.
he had a mom that was like really seriously ill,
Mhm.
and it turns out she was dead, and he pretty much he murdered her, and then he went to the school and he killed himself. But it looks like she's been dead for a really long time.
Oh yeah, she was withered, definitely.
Yeah, that was that's something that takes months.
Oh yeah, and then our little classroom kids kind of reconvened, and the jock kid apologized to Koichi and May, and then the class rep also was like, "All of this is your fault." So they're
Yeah,
talking to them again. They're
your fault.
recognizing them as alive, but
And they're like, how's it feel to exist again? And she's just like, whatever.
yeah, May don't care. She's like, "Sure, why
May
not?"
May's got a messed up home life. May don't care about nothing.
Poor May. I like her. Poor thing. She needs a hug. And people,
But
and people will blame the class reps freaking out because people say it's her fault,
they're
and
gonna
it's
blame.
only the
She's like,
beginning.
Koichi, you better be prepared because they're gonna say it's your fault. They're gonna say it's my fault too. And it's like, I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, it kind of is.
It was school administration's fault for deciding to put Koichi in that class. Let's be real.
Well, here's the question. Here's the major question. Was it the administration's fault, or did the records change?
Hmm.
Hmm.
You're not
Remember,
wrong. You're
they
not
said the
wrong.
records change,
See,
and it
like
didn't
you could
matter
say,
what they try.
like I almost tried to counter that with like someone would notice, but they won't. That's the way this
No, because
calamity
your
works.
memories, like, yeah, that's the
They change
problem
your
with
memories.
this, is that
Like
yeah,
like everyone could just be like, "Oh yeah, that is the class he belongs in." And I mean, So yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. You right.
yeah.
You right.
And so they kind of go back to the librarian a little later to talk to him about
Yes.
what's going on, and we find out that 15 years ago the class went on to a visit to a shrine
Yes.
up in
And
the
it's
Mount
the calamity
Yomiyama.
stopped mid-year that year.
But there was an accident at the shrine, they said, and two students
Yep.
went missing, or they died, and everything stopped. And um,
It it, it
I
was
I
Ritsuko's
was
class. It was Koichi's mom's class.
ah. Jace says, make a note in your calendars, y'all. Angel said DC was right. You're gonna hear that again soon. But my theory here, my theory here, is what they said. There was an accident, two people died, and the calamity stopped. What if the extra person was killed?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Either
I-
that or the
In
shrine required a direct sacrifice.
I don't know, but I only bring that up because of later, which we'll discuss later. But you know what I mean. If you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. I,
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really feel like that might have been what happened. But Miyami,
Possible.
the assistant teacher, she's clearly got PTSD from all this.
Yeah, and they pretty much have organized a class trip to the shrine.
Mm-hmm.
So
How
that's what they're
convenient.
yeah,
Yeah, but they
more
said
like they're
they've
trying
been
to
to the
do damage
shrine.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they said they've been to the shrine multiple times and it's never changed anything. And I think that's because you, there has to be that accident. You know, someone's got to die.
I mean, more people got to die. What's our death count so far?
I
I don't
don't.
even remember.
not that high.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
5 or 6.
Was that
7,
not
8
that
now.
high? They're just dead people, that's all.
Yeah, it's whatever.
And
That's
then
a class of
Koichi
30.
has like a nightmare, and this nightmare
An
was
Evangelion ass nightmare, yeah.
yeah, and he's in like in the halls and he hears who is dead, who is dead, and then like he sees the other students and they all just like start
And
melting, and
then
it just
bleed from the eyes, and then
yeah, just and
Gekko, have
then
you
May and
seen
then
Evangelion?
I have not. I
Okay,
have.
well, if anyone has seen Evangelion, the nightmare and the end of Evangelion are very similar. It's a lot of what?
well, I haven't seen Evangelion, so but
Yeah,
yeah, and then May he sees May and she looks at
and
him and
she's
she
like,
says, "The
"You're the
dead
one
one is
who's dead."
you."
And then
She
he's
said
like,
the
he
dead.
peels his face off and he melts, and then he wakes up.
Oh, that was yeah, bleh.
That was
That
awesome.
it was awesome, but just kind of gross. Like, could you imagine just like touching your face and just flesh just
Yeah,
bleh.
I've had those thoughts sometimes. I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel that. So he
Invasive
wakes
thoughts are
up
terrible.
and dad phone call.
Yep, dad phone call
There's a flip
again.
lock in the phone call
And
every time.
they talk about his mom, and the dad's just like, oh yeah, I never stopped loving your mother, and that's why you're my Lily's like, all right, dad, all right, all right.
Yeah, Koichi plot blocks his own father because he's like, "You're
Oh,
my." Like, what was he gonna say? And with this anime, it had to be
special
something.
boy,
No,
special boy.
I don't know. I
It's
don't know, but his father was doting, loving on him.
but
Words are
he's asking about mom's school pictures, and
the
it's like,
ghost
oh,
photo.
like a ghost photo, and the dad's just like, yeah. I mean, she probably mentioned something like that, and I don't blame the dad for being like, yeah, maybe, because it was like it was 15 years ago, maybe more, and she's been dead for 15, so it's like he's not gonna remember those conversations. He doesn't have
Yeah,
the constant talk about it.
exactly.
He's
No,
he's
I
like,
don't.
yeah, and she told me once in passing 20 years ago, you know.
Yeah. Although I would be a bit more concerned, but she probably remember memories changed. She survived the calamity, so she probably doesn't remember it all that well.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
You would remember the deaths, but you wouldn't remember.
the details. Like at that point,
Maybe
I don't know. I don't know. Would you remember that there's a curse on the class?
everyone
Because
seems to. Everyone seems to remember the curse.
don't you think Dad might be like, "Hey, maybe my son shouldn't go to that school because
He
his
wasn't.
chance."
Well, remember, the dad wasn't from that town,
Yeah, you're right. It's grandma.
so
It's grandma's fault. All grandma's
yeah.
fault. Grandma's fault. Grandma and
So
grandpa.
yeah, because there's other high schools in the town that he could have
Yes,
gone
sir.
to. But we find out, yeah, mom's photo is at the grandparents' house, and
Exactly.
I
And that's
I I had an interesting question though. Can the curse? Because they said if you leave town, you're not affected by the curse.
yep. Fleeing the town will save them from
So,
the curse.
so can the curse still affect the memories of people outside of the town?
See, I don't know. I
Because
don't know because remember our class rep always has memories of Koichi, and she's like, "I swear I know you from somewhere." Like, and then
which
like
comes up later
last
again.
was it last episode when Dad said something along the lines of like
How's it
time
feel to
frame
be back after a year and a half?
exactly. I think there's some memories that have been manipulated there too. Something's
Yeah,
happening.
I don't
Something's
know if
happening.
I just don't know if it affects you outside of the town.
Is it a cycle?
Who knows? Who knows? Cause a
No.
wheel.
Then after
Um.
that, we go back to librarian, and he wants to see Koichi, and the class rep is there as well, talking to the librarian. But
Mm-hmm.
she's super nice. She's super polite to him, and it's kind of off-putting how different she was behaving towards him. And then Koichi starts to wonder if he's dead and wasn't born at all, and the calamity maybe. And but then she also like enforces that. She's like, "What if you died back then with your
Well,
mother? You're the dead
okay.
one."
You're getting it mixed up because that wasn't when he was talking to the. He got called by one dude and asked to meet up, and then he's like, "Oh, if you're going on a date with May, you can bring May too." And they
Was
go to
that
the
step?
yeah, they go to the coffee shop, and that's when he meets with Akazawa, who's sitting at the table, and the lady's like, "Oh, what do you want to get?" And he's like, "Oh, let me look," and she's like, "Oh, he'll have a coffee." And then she's talking to him about you could have died 15 years ago and you were never actually born.
I was probably
And
trying to convince my notes and take less notes because I take too many notes. Sorry about
And
that.
he was all like, "Whoa," and she's like, "Oh, I'm just messing with you," which is why I put Akazawa Sundari.
Yeah, totally. He got scared for a minute. He was just like, "What if I am the dead one?" You
Yeah,
know.
and she's like, "Shake my hand," and she's like, "They say dead people have extremely cold hands, but I."
More students and the more students, yeah, come in and they are at the coffee shop. Yeah, and then the one kid's sister works as a waitress there.
Yeah, and she talks about a guy named Matsuria who uh, was part of the school trip to the mountains, and he's all like, "Yeah, I did it to save them. I did what I had to. I did it to save them." And that's why I think he killed the extra. I think he figured out who it was, and I think he killed them because the way he's talking and the way that like there was this accident and all this other stuff. And I was like, either he killed the extra or he killed someone else at the shrine, and that solved the issue.
Ridden by guilt, whatever he did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and then we're at the doll shop, right? Is that where we go to next?
yes, because he goes to talk to May,
About
who,
finding that guy to talk to him.
yeah, we find out that the doll is actually a doll of May's sister who was never born.
Stillborn.
Yeah,
She
she was
died.
stillborn. And she
The
that it
girl
kind of
is the daughter.
explains.
She
Yeah,
said the girl is the daughter. The daughter she gave birth to 12 years ago, and
yeah,
it's a stillborn daughter.
it was stillborn, and that kind of explains May's relationship with her mom. Um, Gekko, if you didn't watch them, May and her mom kind of act like strangers towards each other. They're very
Very
distant.
so
Uh,
I mean, you
yeah.
find out she has a dad, but he's not ever seen. Because she explains in that episode she's going up to their summer cabin for the week, with her parents.
Yeah, she can't go look for the dude with Koichi, but she will
Well,
be back for the summer vacation, summer trip.
so that's kind of weird though. Like, this leads into he's gonna go talk to his aunt because she she was part of that class. Or she was not part of that class, but she knows
She knows stuff and
she
things.
knows him. And May goes into behind the curtains, and main character goes to follow her, and she pulls him in, and she's just like, "This is where we put the dolls," and she's looking at him with her doll eye,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, "Not to worry that he isn't dead."
Yeah, she pretty much says, like I know you're not dead. Like you
And
don't have to worry about it.
does that mean that she can tell? Because
Well,
she said
remember she
her
said that
doll eye can.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, it's entirely possible that May can tell who is dead and who is not with that doll eye.
yeah,
How, why, who knows, who cares? We got maybe some way to find the dead one.
yeah.
I hope so. And then, that's pretty much the end of the episode there. And I honestly wish she kept her eye patch off because that's the blue and the green. It's beautiful together. It really is.
Well, let's look at this theory, because we've got a little time. Says at least. Let's look at this theory. Let's say her eye can see the dead. All right.
mhm.
If you're in a town called Yomiyama, the land of the dead, going to a school that has invited the dead in, would you want to walk around with an eye that can see the dead all the time? Because I
All right,
wouldn't.
I'll
That's
give you
fair.
that much. I'll give you that
Yeah, I
much.
wouldn't want to see dead people all the time. I wouldn't want to sixth sense this. I see dead people.
I'll give you
Yeah.
that much. I'll give you that much. But yeah,
Exactly.
and then our next episode is called even and horror anime get a beach episode. So I'm hoping that we will get more than just your beach episode, but
Of course, it's another. It's gonna be messed up in some way.
KJ's 130 in chat
I
says I
wouldn't
wouldn't
mind
mind
seeing dead
seeing
people.
dead people all the time. Imagine what you could learn from them. Yeah, I bet they have some really good tales to tell.
Well, it
Or
depends
they
on
will
if they
make
know
you
they're
just
dead or
go.
not.
It's yeah, sixth sense this stuff, man.
So our next our next episode we watched was Baccano. Everything starts aboard the Advina Avis.
Now, this episode has nothing to do with the rest of the episodes. I mean, it does, but
Yes,
it's
it
not.
does. It has
No,
everything.
let me retract that statement. Okay, this is back in 1711.
Yeah, I was
Where
gonna say
DC is right.
I have I only watched the first like 7 minutes of it, unfortunately. So
DC is
I
right.
got to it and it was like, all right, so it's set in the 1930s. Like, oh, that's cool, Prohibition era. And then the episode starts 1711. I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You've got to have seen the other episodes to really understand what's happening here, because I called this.
Okay, yes, you did.
I called this. We're on a ship full of alchemists about to summon a demon.
Go
It
ahead.
was demons. It was demons. The immortality was demons. I called it.
I actually don't feel like we even have to go through this episode as in detail as we normally do. They're on a ship. It's back in 1711.
Before we get into that, I have to state this was the most plot cohesive episode, time cohesive. We only were jumping forth between previous day and next day events
On the ship, yeah.
rather than previous year, next year, previous year, next day, previous day to that. We had cohesive movement. There was cohesive story, and everything made sense. It went like in a way you expected. This was like
I agree.
writing 101 perfect story structure compared to the rest of this anime, which has been so mind-boggling weird with how it tells time.
Yeah,
And
the Wheel has very interesting storytelling.
oh man, I'm just so happy I was right. It was demons, and I got that from just the weird summoning circle where I was like, "It's gonna be demons. It's gonna be demons." I saw summoning circles. It's gonna be demons.
You're right.
Yeah.
It could have been alchemy. You never know. You
Well,
never
they are a ship full of
do know
alchemists
now. We
that
do know.
are talking about how they want to summon a demon in order to gain the elixir, the cure-all elixir.
Yeah, pretty much you follow around the crew of people. Where were they even going? Do you remember that?
1711.
Probably
Who
America.
knows?
I don't know. But for whatever reason they decided this boat trip was a perfect time to practice summoning demons and cult
Well,
chrysalis,
I
shit
mean,
like
think
that.
about it. International waters. Anything goes.
I
Go out
mean, right.
international waters, summon some
Maybe
demons, bro.
maybe their whole goal was to just get to this certain spot in the ocean so they could do this. Maybe they had like poles lined up correctly for magnetic fields
Who
I'm
knows?
sure
Like, you got to be in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, man.
or it
Like,
was a spot
but
so no one could get away.
but um, so
So it's pretty much follows like a pair of
yeah,
lovers and his brother, and then we see our old madman scientist from the
Zillard.
thank you, Zillard. We see him there, and we actually see a couple other characters dispersed in there. But the main thing we follow is the lovers, and it's Gretel
I
and his brother, glasses guy,
Miza,
Miza,
And
Miza.
Gerd.
But Miza is the driving force behind summoning this demon, and he's honestly not a bad guy. He just
No, he wants to get the cure-all elixir because that's the goal of all alchemists. And
yeah, they
he
want to have
talks, yeah,
to eternal life.
yeah, he talks about how he met a man who was like 300 years old who had summoned this demon, and he taught him the way to summon the demon.
Ah,
Yep.
yes, the best way to listen. Crazy old people who are 300 years old.
Well, they if you want to learn from the man who's 300 years old.
So it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if some random old person said, "Hey, you do this, you'll live forever."
I'm I don't know about that. I mean, if it was demons, if they're like, okay, draw a circle. Now make sure you add salt because they can't I mean, they don't cross the line. when there's
No,
salt.
no. That's
If they start
ghost.
talking, no, that's
That's
just
ghost.
that's supernatural in general. Usually, salt is the
Then
cure all.
I don't think you've watched the TV series Supernatural.
I haven't watched
Salt
Supernatural.
only works on ghosts.
That's a TV show, DC.
I had
This is an anime.
yeah, let's say no, it's
It's
different.
a TV show.
We're also about
Creepypasta rules dictate salt is the cure all.
It's salt or pure iron. Remember, pure iron too.
I also love Supernatural, but Anyway, and actually the reasoning that salt is a cure-all, if any, I have witchy friends. I'm not saying I'm a witch. I have lots of witchy friends and they tell me all kinds of cool things, is because salt is also one of those more pure things, purer things, and it's harder for
Yeah,
impure beings to be around it or tolerate it and cross it.
that's kind of like sort of like the idea with iron, pure
do
iron.
they
Exactly.
You know,
do they know if table salt is stronger or weaker than like sea salt because of the iodization, and
ideally, I
they
think
add
you'd
That
want
is
trace
sea
a topic
salt.
elements?
for another time, Gecko. We
Yeah.
can go into certain types of salt later if you want. We can could discuss it in
Look,
detail.
just for
I
in
get plenty
general,
of salt
ideally
playing
you
League of
want sea
Legends. I
salt.
think I'm good.
That's a different kind of salt.
Actually want coarse grain sea salt too, not
That'd
just
actually be funny if Tilt could stop spirits. the
Yeah,
demon,
I open up League of Legends, and they're just like, stop!
the demon this episode tries to come after you. You're like, aha, be gone, demon. I've got salt. That teammate kept yelling at me, and I was on point, and my pings were good. They were good. Anyways,
Anyway,
so we're intercut in the episode with someone going around absorbing people, which I immediately was like, that's Zillard. There's only one crazy absorbing bastard, and that's Zillard. So
yeah, and he's Ziller's just doing his thing, I mean, we find out more about the absorption thing and everything like
yeah,
that.
but that's because when they summon the demon, well, they well, you're talking about finding out about the absorption thing. That happens after they summon the demon.
That's why I said we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well,
they summon the devil, and then everyone like
a
freaks
demon.
out, and he comes in,
Specifically,
and pretty much
he
he was
appears as a shadow being, just there.
the glasses dude like started doing like this ritualistic reading of something. He's like, no, stop,
You
you
don't
don't
need
got
to
to do
do that.
that. Just
He
thinking of me is enough to get me.
he specifically states that he is always listening, he is always watching, he can read your thoughts, he can hear everything. He already knows what you want. He already knows what you're going to ask him. You only need to think and he is there. The ritual is just formalities.
Yeah, he's
And
he,
he also very
and he
specifically stated, I didn't agree to you calling me a demon.
yeah, he did not like being called a demon.
He didn't like, it wasn't anger, it was just like, I didn't agree that that's what I am.
Exactly.
Which is very interesting.
And the demon, lack of a time, calls it the Grand I knew the word and I wrote it down, and it's Panacea.
Panacea.
Thank you, Panacea, the Grand Panacea, and that's the potion. That's the
They
immortality
did
juice.
not say that in the sub. That he just called it the cure all.
Oh, well,
And
that's
he
what it was
said
called.
that he'll give it to only Misa.
Yeah, and he teaches only Misa how to make it, and it's in his brain noodle. And that's it. And everyone else is watching, and then he's like pretty much say, drink. He gets this bowl appears in his
giant
hand.
bowl. Enough.
And
He
everyone
says
just
enough for everyone in this room.
comes
Drink,
up and
child.
everybody takes a drink.
Everyone takes a drink.
And
Well, not everyone.
well, the woman lover seemed very
She,
hesitant, but we do see
yeah,
her up in her hand. So
she has it in her hand, but later on.
yes, obviously later on we find out she didn't drink. Thanks for that, Daisy.
Yeah. So
But
the demon
because
gives a set of
in the
rules.
beginning, before that, she expressed concerns about wanting to live.
Yeah, they were like, we don't. I'll give up immortality to be with you.
How
But the demon gives a set of rules. There's a few rules for immortality. To die, you must let another immortal eat you. And he said it's not eating in the traditional sense, just put your right hand on their head and think, I want to eat.
Yep. Pretty
And
much.
then you can give someone knowledge the same way. Put your hand on their head and think what knowledge you want to give them.
Now, if somebody devours their friend or another immortal, they will get all of their memories and experiences.
Yes,
So
they'll get all their memories,
we've already
skills,
seen
and
that with
abilities.
Ziller doing his things.
Yeah. They also he gave a rule. Immortals cannot use false names when they're talking with each other.
They can't.
And he said the point is because that way you'll know who is immortal and who isn't.
He said you must converse with when you converse with a fellow immortals with the true name, or they will become lost to you. You can lose your name, and I'm not sure.
That's yeah, I didn't
This
see
is
that in the
like some SCP stuff. It's
right.
like you don't use your true like. There's an entire SCP about names. I'll go on SCP's trains for a while, but we gotta get
There's
back on top.
so many SCPs.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, but like
I like them too.
this is like a crazy ritual. I guess
It
it's,
is.
but it sort of I guess ties into the fact that it's sort of a dangerous, trade. It's like, yeah, you live forever, but here's a literal laundry list of things that you have to do or you die in real life.
No,
The thing is, though, is that
let's
it's not that
yeah,
bad. The immortality, there's not like
there's not that many caveats to this,
yeah,
and
just
there's more to this later. That's what I'm really thinking. But what did the demon creature get out of giving all of them immortality?
not a
He didn't
thing.
ask for souls. He didn't ask for children. He didn't ask for life essence. He didn't ask for sacrifices. He was just like, "Oh, here you go.
I mean, what if
Enjoy."
there's a thing that happens when you become immortal? Like your soul gets ripped from your body or you part of it.
Oh,
You don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, but
but
the way demon deals normally work is that the demon had to specify what would happen, but there was nothing. There wasn't even a deal. He said, "Hey, demon. Hey, demons, it's me, your boy." And then the demon's like, "Okay, bye."
yeah,
Oh, there's a
yeah,
couple of quid pro quos, but other than that, it's fine.
yeah, it's not a bad trade. It's not a Faustian trade where
Hmm.
No, it's
you're
no
gonna
monkey's paw
yeah,
so
no,
far.
it's just hey, here
So
have some immortality. But here's the thing, right? So I'm gonna try and do this a little bit chronologically in order.
far.
Because this is kind of important. So Gerd gets uh Gerd his brother Miza. He gets the knowledge, and the demon says if you want the last rule is if you want to know how to make the potion, you have to ask him. Well, it specifically he stated, ask the one who summoned me.
Yes. But now
Now,
Gerd did not get all of the knowledge, though.
no. Here's the thing. He said the one that summoned me. But does that mean Miza, technically?
Yeah, glasses guy.
He's been summoned before by the previous immortal.
Well, you're right, but
That's with
Miza
demons, the
know how to make
wording
it.
is very important.
And that was the exact wording in the dub too, I might add. Was the one who summoned me. And then be- but, you know, you can't really know that because Miza did know how to make it. Like he did share half of that
Yes, he
knowledge with
did. He shared half the knowledge with the girl. But here's the thing, to keep it into chronological order. After that event, he spends the night thinking about it, and he decides, I'm not going to share this information. He's like, I don't want to give it away. I think it's too dangerous right now.
Now, mind you, they kind of got into a big deal over it
Yeah,
because
they get into an argument
Ziller,
over, is it right to give out this information? Ziller's like, no, we need to. And I'm like, I agree with what's his
Miza,
name?
glasses guy,
The purple haired dude who's kind of just like, I abstain my
Huey.
vote. Yeah, I abstain my vote. And he's like, well, when are you gonna give us your thing? He's like, I don't know, could be 100 years, could be 200 years. I don't know. I agree with
We got
him.
time. We got
Yeah,
time.
that's the point. Like Zillard's like, we need to share this information, and it's like, dude, you're immortal now. Time is meaningless.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
have literally all of
Infinity.
existence, and
We
their
can
whole point, yeah,
contemplate this, yeah.
the whole point was just they
The Otaku
believed it's too much.
the
Yeah,
Otaku Empire in chat says, "How easy would it be to accidentally eat someone? Hey, where'd you leave the remote? Let me touch your head and I'll show you. Man, I could go for some chips right now."
Yeah, I don't think it would actually be that easy to accidentally eat someone.
You just go.
I mean, you could just tell your buddy where you left the remote, though, like with words.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
you could
Share with
you
me the
could just
knowledge.
you could just tell someone, hey, you know, I I accidentally I left the remote over there. You know, you don't have to just be like, here you go. It
but
seems weird that
I
you would do that.
understand what they're saying, though. I
But yeah,
get it.
so
I
Gerd,
would also be afraid of accidentally eating somebody.
yeah, so Gerd gets half of the information because his brother believes that he's the only one that he can trust with it, and he's like, if you find someone pure of heart that you believe is worthy of having this, you come to me, you tell me, I'll give them my knowledge, you
The
give them your knowledge, which is a good plan. Split up the knowledge,
And
Share.
yeah, that is, and that makes it
and
feel like somebody consumes one of them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like no one's gonna have all of it.
And Zillard goes crazy. He starts eating everybody on the ship. He
Yep.
goes after Gerd. We find out he eats Gerd because again I'm trying to do this chronologically, and he goes after Gerd's Silva. He tries to eat her, but he finds out he's like, "You stupid girl! She didn't drink the potion."
So he couldn't eat her.
Yeah, you also find out that
It's just his hand on her.
Gerd's feelings for her transferred over because he's like, I should have lost my desires for women a long time ago, but my body
Yes.
desires you. And I was like, man, Zillard, you creep.
No, but my body
And then
tell me yeah.
we've got good guy Elmer,
Oh,
who tries to resolve the situation. Yeah, I thought that was going to end up being Nick, but it wasn't.
yeah, I thought something along those lines as well. But yeah, Elmer's is in present times. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure. Okay, good. My memory is trash, but yeah, and my notes are not helping me. I went with the episode, not with chronological. But yeah,
Elmer tries to resolve the situation.
he
He
tried to
tries
resolve
to,
it peacefully.
yeah, because Miza's gonna go after Zillard. They have this fight. That one dude cuts Zillard's like hand when he tries to eat, Silva. They have a fight. They keep fighting. They get distracted by Elmer.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You're good.
He falls. Elmer falls into the water. Zillard gets knocked into the water.
Why? Like I know what Elmer was trying to do. He was trying to de-escalate the situation, but
Yeah,
he was just it was dumb. It was
yeah,
dumb.
it was
What
dumb.
he did was dumb. He no. But when he's down in the water, mind you, he's immortal. He can't drown, so he's just like
Yeah,
this.
the demon says, "I'll grant you a wish."
Yeah, the demon's like kind of like, "Hey, I like you, kid. I'm gonna give you a
Yeah,
wish." He just comes to him.
and we don't ever really know what his wish is.
Nope, we don't know.
And then the demon actually, after that whole event, they find out Zillard's gone, and the demon talks to the other guy, who was up on the crow's nest.
Which is Huey.
Yeah,
Remember the Lord from the one, our Lord and Master Huey. I'm
yeah,
not sure 100% if that's the same Huey,
it's
but we have
probably,
not seen Huey, and
it's
Huey's supposed
probably.
to be like this great being to them. And honestly, I dig it. Huey seems pretty.
I
Yeah,
like Huey, and they're like, Huey's like, "Why'd you come to me?" And he's like, "Well, we're both outside observers, observing the situation from above."
Now I noticed on one of the scenes where it was focused on Huey's face, he had slit pupils.
Hmm.
Maybe he's not
I don't know
because
what's going on.
the demon's just like he talks about humans as if they're separate from Huey, and then they're
Yeah,
like, "Okay, well, we're different from them." So I actually think Huey might be more than human,
who
right? Or
knows with the way things are going?
I think he maybe is like a half breed, or maybe he's a whole ass demon. I don't know. But
But
did you also see that Elmer when he got back on the ship and he loves the woman? What was her
well,
name?
that's it's kind of debatable.
Whether or not it's like no, okay, love is a bit of a strong. He cares for her.
Yeah,
He cares for her, and he actually had a small violin, and he said he wasn't going to give up on her. He wanted her to be
he wanted her
immortal
to
as well.
smile again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
she
but
had
the
the
way
vial.
did she? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know. It's really weirdly shot.
yeah. I thought he had the vial, but it was a little aggressive the way he wanted her to smile. Like her lover just got eaten. So I
Well,
mean,
he wants
oh, and our
everyone to smile though. He's good guy Huey or
yeah,
good guy Elmer. Sorry, good guy Elmer. He was
and
good guy too. Oh yeah,
our cultist went and fell into the sea, and we
yeah. But
Zillard,
that's yeah Zillard,
yeah.
and it kind of ends with you find out Miza's Firo's superior,
Oh,
and
but wait, Demon did say something interesting when he was talking to Huey. He said he thought this would be the time, and that the demon's
yeah,
sentimental and he's expecting something, and somebody's meeting
yeah,
again. Like,
yeah. Who
Nani?
knows? Who knows what's going on right there?
There,
But
my Twitch just derped out there, so you'll have to keep an eye on chat for me.
but
And
everyone, if you want to join us for Anime Club and find out what's going on in Baccano itself, you can tune in to Anime Club Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time by joining the Anime Club voice channel in the server, hosted by YoJack, along with weekly anime movies. This coming Friday is Napping Princess. Expected start time is 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone is welcome to join, and we hope to see you there.
we do, and yeah,
Just
we
as
watch
that
our
fun
episodes
thing.
of our movie. And the movie we watched was Metropolis. I'm not gonna linger on this one this time. You guys didn't really get a chance to watch the whole movie. I did.
I haven't
Its
slept in 3 days.
animation I actually thought it was an older movie. Poor Gekko. We haven't even been talking to you this whole time. We
No,
not
it's
helping us.
understandable. I hadn't watched that episode. There's nothing much I could really contribute there.
It's very
Gotcha.
weird. It's a very weird anime. DC was right. It was demons. That's all you need to
Demons.
know. Yeah,
Ooh.
But you
DC
did
was right.
see clips of the way the animation for Metropolis is, and it's done like what did you say earlier? It was like Gekko.
It reminds me of like almost like old Astro Boy, like the
Yeah, it's
originals.
like 60s animation. And I could be wrong, and I could be wrong with the era there, but it actually threw me off. But it was made in 2001. It was it was a good story, a little bit like robots and androids and just politics, but it was a good story all in all. So definitely got some time, give it a watch. Definitely. Now we can move on to Otaku news
Hit us with that
and
good.
a good juice. Well, we still need an Overwatch manager. Yay!
Yeah.
And
Join us.
we got please join us. And then we have a new partner, and it's new partner again. He'll be working with the gaming team, so thank you for joining us. Awesome. And then we have
Taco.
our Discord server was revamped.
Lots
Ooh.
of good stuff there. It's legible, it's nice and pretty, and
Streamlined.
you streamline so you can enjoy yourself to a much cleaner UI and role layout.
Important.
Definitely,
Excellent.
definitely something you should be interested in.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, we have Otaku Streams channel. Look in the self-assigned roles to get notified for things like Anime Club and get access to those channels. And see
Be
Anime Club.
informed when we go live.
Yeah, and when our gamers do their streams as well. So you just got to
Yes.
find the appropriate post in the channel called Self-Assigned Roles and react to it. Whichever reaction you choose. Spice it up. And then we also have all of our social media pages. Don't forget those.
Yes. We've
Our Twitch.
our Twitch is lovely and updated.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Then we have Instagram.
Everything's
And do we
everything's
have a
coming
Twitter?
together.
We have a Twitter, right?
Yeah. Join us.
Yeah.
Follow
All of
us.
all of the Twitter,
Like this video.
the like, comment, share, subscribes, do those things.
Do it all.
All of those things. Look at my banana notebook. It smells like bananas. It's good.
Bananas.
That's weird.
Yeah, bananas. It smells. See, scented.
No one
Banana.
likes fake banana. No one.
I like fake banana. Thank you
Why
very
don't
much.
banana flavors taste like banana?
I
That's
know,
a
right?
topic for another. Actually, I
That's
know
not
why.
a topic.
I
All
know
right,
why.
give us the
Here's a
lore.
extra tidbit. I'll be quick. Because the banana candy that we have and we eat in the artificial banana is actually of an extinct banana species.
Well, that's terrible
Oh,
flavor. They need to change it.
I like that flavor. It's a good one.
Fake banana's gross.
I love this fake banana. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure and don't forget, if you want to be a part before season 1, you got to become a patron, and you
Got
can
to.
join for as
It's a
$1
dollar.
a month.
It's
Easy
$1.
peasy. $1 and you can come and watch Anime Club with us. You can get in our memes channel in our lounge and chill with us. What's not to love?
Sorry, I was thinking of Avenue Q.
Okay, I don't know.
Thinking of Avenue Q. If you guys never seen Avenue Q, it's great.
Anyway, thanks again, Gekko, for coming
Yeah.
to our craziness, and I guess we'll see you guys all next week.
Sign us
Bye.
off.
Sign us off, Gekko. Get us
See ya.
out of
Say
here.
goodbye.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Let's get it. Gang gang.
Okay. See you guys. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Be well. Wash your hands.